Hi guys, this is Bus, and today I'm reading Captain Underpants and the Terrifying Return of Tippy Tinkletrousers, chapter the recap to chapter 8. Hi everybody, the last time you saw us, we were heading to jail for the rest of our lives. Then something worse happened. Check out this comic book to get caught up on our story so far. Once upon a while ago, there were two cool kids named George and Harold. We had a bomb mate too, but they had a really mean principal named Mr. Croft. Blah, 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 and stiff. So they hypnotized him. You will obey us. Okay. You are now Captain Underpants. Groovy. Mr. Crump thought he was really Captain Underpants. Tra-la-la, and he got lots of in trouble. One time, Dr. Diaper kidnapped him. Ha ha ha. And George and Harold said, "Booyah, bye-bye, I'm free, rats." Another time, he almost got ate up by some talking dogs. And George and Harold had to save him again. Eat this. I'm a hero. And then another time, a bunch of zombie nerds attacked. Captain Underpants drank superpower juice, and he got superpowers. Then he saved everyone. It's about time! Here's the worst part. When Mr. Crump hears somebody snap their fingers, blah blah blah, he turns into Captain Underpants, tra la la! And whenever Captain Underpants gets water head, he turns back into Mr. Crump, blah blah blah. So whatever you do, don't snap your fingers at Mr. Crump. Seriously, dudes. And if you ever see Captain Underpants saving the world, hide that shit out. Quick, nobody pour water on his head. This is George, Beard, and Harold Hutchins. George is the kid on the right with the top and the flat top. Harold is the one in the teacher and the bad haircuts. Remember that now. When our last adventure ended, George and Harold were being escorted to jail. The police had discovered surveillance photos showing the two boys robbing a bank with Captain Underpants. Of course, we all know George, Harold, and Captain Underpants were innocent. It was an evil twin robbed the bank. But the police hadn't bothered read the last book, so they really don't know what's going on. All they knew was George and Harold looked like look a lot like two kids from the surveillance photos. So the cops yelled, "Freeze!" and grabbed George and Harold and then told the two boys of their terrible fate. Suddenly, a gigantic pair of robotic pants appeared from out of nowhere. The terrifying Tippy Tinkletrousers emerged from the zipper, zapped the cops with an ice ray, and chased George, Harold, and their two pets, Crackers and Sulu, far into the Carnivia next to the lower right hand corner of page 17. If you read our last level, you know that this is how the story ended. But that's not how it's supposed to end. You see, Tippy and his giant ice ray zapping robotic trousers weren't supposed to be there at all. They had come in the future and really interrupted what they're supposed to. Unfortunately for Tippy, the simple act of sending himself backwards through time would have ended up being a terrible mistake. A mistake that will ultimately lead to the destruction of our planet, more or less. But before I can tell you that story, I have to tell you this story. Time machines are awesome. There are no doubt about it. But they can be also very dangerous. It's possible that a person could go back in time and accidentally change one little thing, and that's one tiny itsy bitsy thing that will profoundly affect the future. This is what scientists refer as the banana cream pie paradox. Imagine you will let a scientist from the year 2020 bake a banana cream pie that using bananas that are harvested from his own very own banana tree. That's supposed now the scientist took his banana cream pie and zapped it with the pie back to the year 1936. Now that scientist stepped out of his time machine and accidentally tripped, smashing the pie into the face of a lady sitting at a fancy garden party. Now suppose the lady jumped angrily, wiped a handful of goldy banana cream pie filling from her face and threw it at the scientist. The scientist ducked, causing the banana goo to smack into the face of a standing nearby. A waitress pointed at the woman and laughed. The angry gentleman wiped the goo from his face and smooched it into the waitress's face. "Well," said the waitress, "I've never been so insulted in my life." "You want to get out? Get more, lady." Said the chubby boy. "Why is your own business, boy?" "Brains," said another man, as he poked the chubby bald guy in his eyes. The chubby bald guy landed backwards and landed on the size of the banana tree, which was a tiny 1936. The banana tree snapped in half and died. Now, if the scientist banana tree died in 1936, it could never produce bananas. Therefore, the scientists would have the main ingredient he used to make his banana cream pie in the year 2020. Consistently, the banana cream pie cannot exist. Tell that to these guys. Many scientists throughout the centuries had pondered the banana cream pie paradox and have come to the conclusion that people should be really careful when they use time machines, because that's the one simple change in the past could affect the future and even possibly destroy entire planets. As we already saw in chapter 1, George and Harold were being taken to jail when Tippy Tinkletrousers traveled backwards through time and interfered. But that would have happened if he hadn't shown up. What was supposed to happen before Tippy's rudely interrupted him? Well, sit back and get comfortable, because you're about to find out. The police chief and his right-hand man, Officer McWigley, handcuffed George and Harold and shuffled them back into the police car. "You've got the wrong guy," said Harold. "We didn't rob that bank." "It's true," said George. Our bank was that bank was robbed by our evil twin to roll alternative universe." "Yeah, right," said Officer McWigley. "I earned a nickel for every time excuse." On the way to jail, the cops drove past Mr. Crop, who was busy cleaning out the soggy paper in the yard. "Hey, so," said the police chief, "that guy is the who robbed the bank with those kids. Let's get him," said Officer McWigley. The car slammed on the brakes, grabbed Mr. Crop and handcuffed him and threw him into the back seat of their car along with George and Harold. Their trials lasted for nearly a year, and George, Harold, and Mr. Crop were all found guilty. They were each sentenced to 10 years of incarceration. This unusually harsh sentence was tough for George and Harold, but it was really hard for Mr. Crop. Poor Mr. Crop had been locked up the Pickle State Penitentiary for months, and the life of a jailbird wasn't his thing. Only he had people bossing around. He ate a filthy truly different, horrible tasting meals in the film cafeteria. He got bullied constantly, and a bunch of meat-headed, something that one, and he spent his days doing miniature busy work in an overcrowded, poorly diverted sweet shop. And Mr. Crump was told when to eat, when to read, when to exercise. He even had to ask permission to go to the bathroom. It was constantly bombarded with his pointless rules, reckless discipline, and random searches of metal detectors, security cameras, and firemen designed to make everyone compliment and docile. It was a lot being like a student at Jim Rome Horrors Elementary School, except that the prison had better funding. Mr. Crumb grumbled angrily to himself and stomped around the prison. In the center of the courtyard, a giant green tarp shielded everyone's eyes from the large and the tall was built in honor of Pickle State Penitentiary's upcoming year. Sure what it was. Sorry about the problem. I'm sick of this craze. Place, said Mr. Crump muttered to himself. "Well, everybody always tell me what to do. If one more person gives me another order, I think I'm going to go crazy." "Hey, fatty!" shouted an inmate working behind the green tarp. "Give me that hammer over there." Mr. Crump clenched his fist furiously. "You can't tell me what to do," he screamed. "You're a prisoner just like I am." "I am certainly nothing like you," said the tiny prisoner. It was Tippy Tinkletrousers, who was serving an 8-year sentence for attempting to take off the planet with intentions and save humanity. Mr. Crump rolled up his sleeves and stormed over at the pin-sized prisoner. He eyed it up and down. Tippy eyed down. "Hey," said Mr. Crump, "you look kind of familiar." "I agree," said Tippy, "but I can't remember where I've seen you before." The two men walked slow in circles around each other. "Well, whoever you are," Mr. Crump said, "you've got business bossing me around." "I have you know," said Tippy. "I'm more than a regular prisoner. I'm an artiste, and I was handpicked to build a statue by Wolfsborn." Suddenly, a rotund little man peeped his bubbleless and dandruff speckled head from behind the green tarp. "Did somebody say my name?" "Yeah," he asked excitedly. "It was Warden Gordon B. Smorton, the guardian and chief jailer of Pickle State Penitentiary. Warden Smorton was known for a wide restriction. He once sentenced a prisoner to a year of solitary confinement just for reading a sentence with preposition. Warden's murder was undoubtedly the most maniacally evil person anyone had ever met, but the injurious jailer had one weakness. He's easily flattered, and that weakness was exactly that Tippy Tinkletrousers used to talk his way into making a giant statue of Warden Borden's murder to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of the Piqua State Penitentiary. Just leave everything to me, said Tippy at the starting of the project, and I'll construct the most stunningly handsome statue you've ever seen. Really? Said the warden. Can you make it extra tall and extra handsome? Of course, said Tippy. Wonderful, wonderful, cried Warden. How soon you can get started? As soon as I get my supplies. He handed the Warden a carefully written list of tools and materials. Hurry, said Warden, looking over the list. Why do most of these supplies come over the mad scientist mini-mall? What do you need from an emissary symbolic inhibitor, and what kind of statue uses a reverse symbol collecting a tractome neutron? You know, said Tippy. I don't tell you how you run how to run it, so don't tell me how to build my statues. Fair enough, said Warden. One brisk evening in the late October, the entire prison was yawning with excitement. The prison of his own government in the bleachers under a clear moonlit sky, as the prison band played a slow, reverent, and deeply moving edition of Whoop! There it is. Everyone dried their eyes. Warden Golden Bolden Smorgem stepped onto the stage to congratulate himself. He profoundly bragged about his great ability, confessed his hatred of intolerant people, and spoke hours about his legendary brevity. Then the moment of truth arrived. Tippy Tinkletrousers' statue was finally ready to be shown in the world. With great theatrical flair, Tippy profoundly strutted out to the courtyard and grabbed on all of the green type. Gentlemen and gentlemen, he shouted, it's going to be a great pleasure to get out of here. Tippy pulled on the tarp and revealed the creation. Hey! Shouted Warden. That statue doesn't have a head. It's on the statue, yelled Tippy as he climbed on the tall ladder of the cockpit of the top. It's a giant robo-suit, and after I escape from this horrible prison, I'm going to stop an end to that logical nuisance, Captain Underpants. Tippy wiggled into the tiny cockpit on the side of the crane, and suddenly the colossal contraption came to life. Its mighty chest heavy as its gigantic gorilla-like arms swayed roughly. Sound the alarm! Stop that guy! Armed guards ran in every direction from sirens wailed and the prisoners screamed for their lives. Massive searchlights swept across the sky as the metallic behemoth took its thunderous steps toward freedom. Suddenly, Tippy stopped for a moment. Hey, I know where I saw this guy before, he said. Tippy searched through the crowds and panicking until he found the one he's looking for. The giant of Tippy's robes would reach out and pluck Mr. Crowds. I knew I'd recognize you from somewhere, cried Tippy. You're the principal of that school I shrunk last year. Oh yeah, said Mr. Crowds. I remember now. You're that Professor Poopy Pants guy. My name's not Professor Poopy Pants, screamed the angry villain. That was a ridiculous name, so I changed it to Tippy Tinkletrousers. Gee, that's a lot better, the crowd profoundly. Tippy glared into Mr. Crop in defendant's eye. I shall ignore your impudence in one condition, Tippy said. Tell me where I can find George Beard and Harold Hutchins. George and Harold? Asked Mr. Crump as he dangled purposely from Tippy's gigantic robotic fingertips. What do you want from those two? Those boys have something to do with Captain Underpants, said Tippy. I have seen them all together. They know each other, and I'm sure of it. Well, they should be easy to find, said Mr. Crump. They're both locked up in the pickle juvenile detention center. They're in junior, said Tippy with sinister smirk, and that's where we will go. Tippy clutched Mr. Crop and tightly in his robotic fist as he stormed forward, crushing the armed watchtower and smashing cell block B. Freeze, or we'll shoot, shouted the guards. How about I shoot and you freeze? said Tippy, as he pressed the button in his control panel, causing a giant door in the chest of his robosuit to swing open. A massive laser shooter poked up the mechanical depths of the robosuit and zapped the armed guards. Suddenly, they were transformed into frozen statues. "What did you just do?" screamed Mr. Crump hysterically. "Oh, relax," said Tippy. "It's just my freezing beam 4000. It temporarily freezes whatever it zaps. For as long as I choose, those guards will be gone and they'll be perfectly fine." Tippy's evil mechanical monstrosity, a tanker funded for the prison and the parking lot, battering through the prison parking lot, battering the bushes and crushing cars as it head toward Piquan Juvenile Detention Center. "I just don't get it, Mr. Crump. What's so important about Captain Underpants? That ridiculous superhero foil man to take over the planet and enslave humanity." So that's the reason I got locked up. Everyone knows. But why? No, from defeating me. Oh, don't worry about just letting little hell but under defeat. I got a few tricks over my sleeve this time. Meanwhile, across the Piquan Juvenile Detention Center, George and Harry were getting ready for it. "You know," said George, "I don't really mind being stuck here in Juvie." "Yeah," said Harold. "You know, much of being different from our old school, except that they have library music and a music teacher," said George. "And the art teacher," said Harold. As the two boys discussed the similarities between elementary school and enforced confinement in the harsh the Florida Institute, they heard the sounds of booming and getting louder and louder. Soon their entire building began to shake violently with each thundering strike. George and Harold dashed into their windows and saw Tippy's terrifying robo-suit stomping toward them, freezing anyone that stomped in this way. "Oh no," said Harold. "We're doomed." Tippy stopped at the main entrance to the center and demanded to speak with visitor. After a few minutes, the center administrator and director, Hector Smector, saw open everything at the door. Said the director Smector, "May I help you? Do you have two kids there named George Beard and Harold Hutchins?" "Oh yeah," said Director Smector, "but those two kids are nothing but trouble. They always pull pranks too. I mean, you can't sit around the toilet without getting ketchup sprayed in your underwear. And last week, they just hand them over," he intimated Robert. "Hey, new plan." And Director Smector chuckled, trying to sound cool. The director, Hector Smector, pranced excitedly to George and Harold's cell, grabbed them by the arms and escorted them to the front door. "This will take you for putting hair remover on my shampoo," said Director Smector. Hector tossed the boys outside and locked the door. George and Harold stood trembling before Tippy's massive suit as a crazed inventor and chuckled maniacally. "Hello, George and Harold," cried Tippy. "Remember me?" The boys were frightened to speak. "Hey, Tippy," said Mr. Crump. "You know what I mean, boy. You mean I told you where to find those guys, right? You can get that going me." "I guess so," he said. Mr. Crump down to the ground by George. "Ha!" said Mr. Crump. "I thought I'd be happy to look into now. You bombs are in big trouble now." Almost without thinking, George and Harold reached out to their hands and snapped their fingers. Suddenly, a ridiculously optimistic smile spread across Mr. Crump's face. "Hey!" cried Tippy. "What's going down there?" What George and Harold knew and what Tippy was about to discover was that Mr. Crump's transforming into the world's greatest superhero. Captain Underpants! Quickly, he wiggled out his purple prison jumpsuit, flipped his shoes away, and peeled off his sweaty toupee. The only thing missing was his cape. He couldn't run around the detention center but couldn't find anything suitable. "I can't be a superhero without cape," said Captain Underpants. "You're okay," said Jordan. "Yeah," said Harold. "You don't need a cape, seriously." "Sorry," said the captain, "but you're gonna find where to fight crime." And with no time to spare, Captain Underpants flew off to find a cape. "That guy was Captain Underpants!" cried Tippy. "Doily!" said George. "Oh!" screamed Tippy. I just had it in my head. I've got to crushed him." Again, George responded the only intelligent word that could possibly apply to this situation. "Doily!" Meanwhile, Captain Underpants had flown down into the near shopping center, which was having to assemble a lazy storytelling sale. Quick, said Captain Underpants. Do you guys sell superheroes? You betcha, said the employee cheerfully. They're in aisle 49 between the diaries and the wizard hats. Awesome, cried Captain Underpants. In no time at all, our hero found a cape and tied it around his neck and flew up to the night and find his mortal enemy. Meanwhile, back at the pick-up juvenile detention center, Tippy Tinkletrousers was at a tizzy. He grabbed George and Harold and his mighty robotic hands and demanded some answers. Tell me everything you know about Captain Underpants, screamed Tippy. You're on squishy kids like a bunch of blueberries. Well, Sir George, he's really strong, and said Harold. He's really powerful. Yes, Tippy. What else to say? He's right behind you, said George Harold simultaneously. Suddenly, he turned and tipped quickly, but not quickly enough. Captain Underpants swung his flabby fist and bashed Tippy right in the jaw. Suddenly, the blow sent Tippy's the robot suit flying over the top of the juvenile detention center and into one of Pickwa's many downtown skyscrapers. George and Harold flew from the grip on Tippy's robot suit fits and landed safely in some nearby bushes. I'll kill you! Screamed Tippy as he pulled himself and lunged at Captain Underpants. The chest panel of the robot flipped open and the brilliant burst of energy from the freezing beam 4000 shot at the waistline water. But Captain Underpants was not so quick. He quickly ejected them expertly and avoiding every frozen energy beam that burst from the belly of the beastly robot. Oh, Tippy! Called Captain Underpants as he sat up the coiling atop of the nearby skyscraper. I'm up here! Till Tippy turned quickly and zapped him at his freezing beam 4000 of the skyscraper coming with it. But Captain Underpants had been too fast. He zigged away just in time. Captain Underpants flew several rows away and thanks to it on 0 points earlier to his Robo Tippy ran up with. Who Tippy said Captain Underpants as he swung fully playing from screen. Would you give me a push? Tippy leaped over the school and into the football field. He zapped his freezing beam 4000 again, this time covering the swing set with equal to the bike. Captain Underpants had zagged away just in time. Here, Tippy called Captain Underpants again as he lounged lazily between gigantic robot feet. I'm down here. Tippy's, can I have some ice, please? Why, you little screamed Tippy as he bent over and did his freezing beam 4000 down his knees. Of course, Captain Underpants was gone before the ice beam reached on the ground. Unfortunately for Tippy, however, his robot pants were it. Tippy's gigantic robot feet and his robot legs were now encased in a huge shimmering iceberg. He pulled off in his own might, but his whole lower half was frozen to the football field. And Tippy was strong. No! Screamed Tippy. He ducked his head beneath the cockpit of the robot suit and disappeared down the stairwell into the intimidating invention. Captain Underpants grabbed the arm of the robot suit and began to pull harder. He tugged until one by one the rivets in the robot suit thick steel belt began to pop. The harder Captain Underpants he yanked, the more of the robot suit began to break in two. The shrieking sound of the twisting metal reverberated around Tippy and the front of clothing circuit. This is his only chance to make sure the lower half the robot suit before Captain Underpants pulled it up. Without time spent, Tippy dashed into the robot and as the robot suit broke in two. You haven't seen the last of me, Tippy yelled as he closed the emergency hatch of the robots. Then he set his Tinkle travel meter to 5 years ago and pressed the away we go button. Suddenly sparks of blue lightning began to emanate from them, but the master bolts cracked loudly and grew more intense until finally Tippy was robot were evolved into a giant ball of blue lightning. The blinding flash right into the night sky into day for a silver second. Then it was all over. Tippy and his robots had disappeared. Only an empty mound of ice behind. The crazy inventor and his terrifying trousers would have never been seen again that night. They would, however, be seen exactly 5 years ago before that night. But before I can tell you that story, we have to go back even further. So this will be the prequel of Captain Underpants for the next 200 pages. But I'll not tell that now. So please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon.